You've seen it for 19 years, the list goes on. So I'm trying to explore other options. I'm not saying that this has to be the way it is, just trying to throw some ideas out there. At least I have the county executive and the Erie County DPW willing to sit down, talk to me, listen to me, and that's what we're exploring. So again, it's your tax dollar. There's a lot of options, I guess I'll say, that are maybe even not even known yet, but once we can get that engineering report, we'll hopefully have a relatively clear scope of the work that needs to be done, and then if we want to move forward on taking that road back. But I do hear that, how do I answer, or how does the board, I'll say, even answer the question to any resident that approaches us, well, why Zimmerman Road, and why not Back Creek, or why not Woolheater, and the list goes on and on. I hear that. It's just, again, I guess I'll use the analogy, it's just like my budget. I have X amount of dollars for brush pickup, I have X amount of dollars for celebrations, for fireworks and other things. It is what it is. The only way that that's gonna change, not a common topic, and I know I've been beat up over this before, but, and I don't intend on doing this, but raising taxes. You know, how do you fund these things? You need a source of funds to fund these things, and the only way to do that is to change services, or or change the tax levy. There's a lot of components to this, and that's why I'm trying to keep an open dialogue and open discussion on this, so we as a town could look to the future and decide how we want our town to basically either grow, or how we want to improve our town moving into the future. So that's where we're at. But,
Mark, did you want to say something?
I worked for the highway here in Boston for 17 years. I appreciate, what people said about the way we plow roads. We do the best we can with what we have to work with. And I think, in my opinion, taking on Zimmerman or any county road would be a mistake. Because we got aging equipment that needs to be replaced, okay? We spend our tax dollars to do that, plus maintain the roads that we have, okay? Now, you're talking about mill and fill and all that stuff. Well, look at Boston State Road. What'd they do that, like 3 years ago? And look at all the potholes in that. So if that's what they did to Zimmerman, is that what we have to look forward to in 3 years? Or if they do complete reconstruction like they did on my road. I live on Lower East Hill Road. They did complete reconstruction, tore everything out, put everything brand new in 25 years ago, and that road is in almost as worse shape as Zimmerman. So something to look forward to down the road even further.
Mhm.
I just, I don't even think it's a good idea.
Fair enough.
So,
Now, just merely playing devil's advocate here. So with that being said, obviously it's a county road, but that county road is being essentially, if you will, and I'll certainly go on record by saying this, it's the maintenance is not up to the par of the town as far as plowing, as far as cleaning up the ditches, which is mitigating the water, keeping it away from the asphalt. So, right, you're at your, I hear you loud and clear, you're 100% right. If a road is fixed, the water's not mitigated, channeled away from that road, it's not crowned properly, or the drainage ditches aren't done properly, substrate's not done properly, you're absolutely right. Over the course of time, it's going to fall apart. That's a fact.
can I stop for a second?
Absolutely.
That number system you're talking about, 6, 7, whatever that was, is that the county standard, or is that going to be
Federal.
our standard?
That is federal.
Federal standard?
There's a federal scale 1 to 10.
So are they going to replace all the culvert pipes that go under the road, all the driveway pipes that are all rotted out and plugged up?
I mean, they would fix the culverts that would need the repair.
See, that's a mistake. That's
When,
because if there's old galvanized or steel pipes in the roads and say they're okay right now, they're going to rot out eventually, and that's just another expense that the town's going to have to take on.
True.
And are you going to, like I said about the aging equipment, okay, are you going to add on extra employees? Because if we got to add 6 miles of roads to plow, that's going to have to be probably split up between at least 2 or 3 trucks depending on our runs. And then that's also going to extend our run time.
But aren't you already driving down those roads to access a town road anyway?
Not all the time. But what you're asking for is for us to then take on extra town or extra hills, Zimmerman Hill.
Right, but as a hypothetical, so you travel up, so George Drive, the road I live on, has to be accessed by a town plow in some fashion, so that either way, they're coming either down Zimmerman or up Zimmerman. So
Yeah, but they're coming down Highwood.
Mhm.
They do Allen, Tanglewood, down to George Ravine, and then back up to Highwood.
Right, so I hear what you're saying, so they're not necessarily covering the full length, but they're still using a county road, I guess I'll say John Stairs off of Back Creek.
But that's what I'm saying, where your run is gonna be extended, because now if you've gotta completely plow that whole road, Now, instead of being, you know, if you're doing Zimmerman Hill, and your run is also Highwood and Glen Terrace, or any other roads, you know, you're taking away from what you have to do.
Or again, this is a board decision, not my decision by myself, but or we create a job for somebody in town, and we maintain them. Yeah, again, I'm not saying that's the answer, I'm not saying that's the route, I'm not saying that's the route we go. It's just a hypothetical. Like I said, if we, right now, if after this meeting, if we all walk away, we do nothing, nothing will change. That is a fact.
Okay, now, you wanna do Zimmerman Road, but like you said, what about failures that we did before, Lower Eastville Road?
Discussion for our, same thing, it's a discussion for our community.
Or is it only discussion because that's the road that you live off of?
It has nothing to do with the fact that it's the road I live off of.
It has to be asked.
You can be asked, and I have no problems answering, and I appreciate you asking, I do. Again, if you look at traffic count, the traffic count is done the same way, and that's why our roads are in the state that they are. Mark Poloncarz, Bill Geary, Charlie Sickle, they've all been on the press, whether you listen to WBEN, whether you listen to the other news stations, they all said, and this was clear from the county, they said that if they have to look at what roads are gonna receive the attention, they're gonna focus the attention on the roads up north that receive 15 to 20,000 cars a day versus our roads here that receive, let's say, 1,700 cars a day. That was directly coming out of all three county representatives' mouths.
Is there any added tax dollars that come back to us because we're taking on that road? Or is this all just coming off of what we have to work with?
Good question. That I've had discussions on that. When you look at the 6 miles, if you break it down on a, I can tell you I don't have a straight answer on that, not from the county. But when you, just being a chief financial officer, when you look at the numbers, if you break it out, if they did it on a sliding scale or a percentage of what was taken back, you're talking a fraction of a percent. So there'd be some kind of increase. I don't have the numbers, I haven't ran them, but just off the top of my head, I don't think it would even pay for somebody's salary of money coming back to the community. But again, I'm not saying this has to go this way, and it's certainly not the fact that I live off that road. It's the fact that that is one of the worst roads out there. Anybody's driven it, and I can tell you, Woolheater, I've had the phone calls about Woolheater with a sinkhole that's out the far end of Woolheater over by Lower East Hill. I got the pictures, I've sent them into Channel 4 News. Again, I have covered this extensively. I guess we need a plan, and that's the same thing I went to the county saying, I need some kind of a commitment, I need some kind of plan from the county, and one of their options was consider taking a road back.
I got
Because-
one last thing, and I think this will probably solve it all.
Sure.
You call up Poloncarz, and you talk to Geary and all these guys, and you tell them to just have their highway workers do their job. Instead of riding around, tell them to get out and do their job. Clean some ditches, cut some trees. That'll solve a lot of things right there.
Don't disagree. And I will tell you that even out of Bill's conversation that we had, a lot of these roads, you're 100% spot on. When you look at the overhang, using the example of Back Creek Road, when you look at the overhang for these trees, all of that shade over or any asphalt road, anywhere in New York State, anywhere else across the country for that matter, it traps the moisture, and if the roads don't dry out, it eats them alive. So I hear you, I do. Like I said, this is a multifaceted problem. This is not an overnight.
And some of the worst
fix.
spot for trees is up where Jennifer lives.
True.
You know, that's
Agreed.
terrible.
That's why I said, this is not easy, and that's why I'm bringing it to the community, that's why I
But they
want.
took my apple tree down.
That's the problem.
So, yeah, again, I'm not saying that this is how it has to go, but again, if we don't change anything, I can tell you right now, whether it's Mark Poloncarz going on the record saying he has put, and this is his exact words, that he's put more money into that budget than any other predecessor before him, I challenge that. As I said, it's an interesting play in the numbers because all that money hasn't been spent. That's exactly what I said on the radio. It's the facts. That is what we're looking at here. But when he puts those dollar amounts in there, whether he spends them or not, there's only so many dollars that are appropriated to highway. And Bill Geary and Charlie Sickler, they're great guys, but they're no different than, let's say, Bob or you in the highway department. You're given X amount of dollars a year. You can only do so much. And then again, I'm trying to be realistic here. I don't want to be the person who comes in and, if I go and start swinging a club early, I'm not going to get anywhere. So I'm trying to have civil conversation, reach out to the community, get public feedback, and see where it goes. And again, if we choose not to go down this path, that's fine. But I can guarantee that my phone will still continue to ring, and we'll have the problems on these roads of the fact that there's only X amount of dollars appropriated into a county budget for county roads, but there's 2,100 lane miles of road, and if you look at just as a resurfacing project at about $1 million per mile, again, you start doing the math, you're talking a budget that far exceeds the county's budget alone. And then I realized from a town perspective, that if you look at that budget, and I looked at, let's say, that road in the same numbers, $1 million per mile, that's a 6 mile road, that's $6 million of taxpayer money that would just about literally consume the town of Boston's budget just to fix that road. I ran the numbers many a times, I've tried to look at it all different angles, and again, I can't think of everything, I'm not perfect, that's why I'm reaching out to the community. Because
Our little budget couldn't fix that road in 10 years.
True. Total reconstruction, you're looking at $3 million, so $3 million, again, doing the math, you look at $3 million for a total reconstruction project. This is going on the low end, but $3 million of total reconstruction, 6 miles.
Yeah, 3 million per mile if it was total reconstruction.
Yes. So again, that is the numbers, that is the facts, it's not political, it's what we have, that's the reality, that's what we're looking at right now. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I mean, like Zimmerman Road, this is the condition it's in because years and years of neglect.
Mhm.
When we first moved up here, my wife was paranoid about the top of this hill in the wintertime going to work. 19 years ago, the county plowed that road real well. And it just, now, like you said, it's 3 hours, you don't see a plow.
Mhm. That's the highway superintendent's concern.
3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be
Yeah.
well maintained, and it's just deteriorating, and it's just neglect.
Right, and just like the highway superintendent said, so even on that road, and I support our highway superintendent and our workers, when I actually, I was invited down to the highway barn just this year, one of our small trucks, they actually hit a piece of ice that was on it, when we had that heavy wet snow that came in about 2 feet of snow, and overnight literally, our truck hit that bank, and it messed up the frame, it messed up one of the arms. I'm not the technical guy, I don't know all of it, but anyway, it messed it up where it took a couple guys off the road, it took a truck out of service. So now, we've got, if there was a imminent snowstorm that was happening, our highway crew was, if you will, hampered because of what had happened with that storm and the fact that the county road wasn't cleared properly. Could we enter a maintenance agreement? Absolutely, we could go back and explore the idea of a maintenance agreement. However, when you drop, any one of these highway folks, if they drop that blade on that road, their blades and their trucks, just like the highway superintendent said, they're not gonna last. They can't. When you're talking the tonnage, the weight that's in those trucks, followed by the wear and tear on the blades, again, I hear our highway superintendent loud and clear when he says that. That's why my stipulation, my contingency on if, and again, emphasizing if, we take back that road has to be fixed to some kind of standard where these gentlemen feel comfortable jumping behind the wheel and dropping that blade on those roads. Until that happens, I'll tell you, me personally, I will tell you no. Because, again, that is a tax burden to the taxpayer because now these guys are constantly repairing and replacing equipment. Yes?
Devil's advocate here too.
Sure.
A little bit, okay, I'm assuming that the county has been put on notice that the deplorable road conditions and everything like that. How about if we get together and just start sending them the repair bills demanding repayment, reimbursement?
You can try.
With that,
You can try. The county has their pothole website, which
well, I'm
obviously,
talking about like Bob, for example, okay, with the highway department. You know, with the damage to our town vehicles, you know, that have to, you know, maybe, you know, try to recoup some money any which way we can to get them to open up their eyes and maybe act a little
I can send
faster.
them my realignment bills.
My tie rod bill.
yeah, those goes on. Again, this is across the 36 square miles of the town of Boston. This is not an overnight fix, and it's not gonna be an easy conversation one way or the other. So, all right, is there anything else? All right. So the only other thing I want to do say is that, you know, the Parks Department, they've been doing, as the highway superintendent said, they've been doing a great job getting the parks ready for soccer, baseball, football, et cetera. One thing I will ask everybody is that if you're walking your dog out there, please clean up after your dog. While we all love Fido, you know, Fido, when they leave presents behind, it makes extra work for our parks guys, or, you know, I guess I'll say ruins, gets equipment dirty. But our dog control officer has seen an increase in calls. So again, if you're letting your dog out to walk at night or anything like that, please keep them on a leash. Anybody follows the Town of Boston Dog Control Facebook page, it's been a lot of loose dogs lately, so just make sure that their registration, their shots and everything's up to date. So that's the message I have from our town dog control officer. Next week, we have the Thank event that I brought up a couple of times. That'll be here at the town hall. I have had a couple of residents reach out to me saying that the time from 10 a.m. to 12:30 didn't work out. Obviously, it's during the course of a business day. I understand that. That's what the time frame was, that was provided from the county clerk. But if you do go out to the Thank Event website on the Erie County Clerk's website, there is a Saturday date that's available. And I did post that out on the Facebook page to the resident that had brought that up to me. Rural broadband expansion. I attended a meeting out in Batavia regarding rural broadband. Anybody that had followed me last year knows that I was a cable TV liaison, but I still fight this battle as well. But broadband coming to the town of Boston is its own challenge in the fact that Verizon has no intentions of building out their fiber network. They're focusing on 5G, and Spectrum, as we all know, is Spectrum. And they're expanding this year, but I hear the complaints from residents. The rates are going up. They're not happy with the service. I hear you loud and clear. But speaking with the FCC chairman at the federal level, who was at that meeting, kind of what we have is what we have. And the solution from, I guess I'll say, Albany at the time was HughesNet. And if anybody's not familiar with HughesNet, HughesNet is a satellite TV provider, and that was Albany's version of broadband expansion. So HughesNet received a whole bunch of funding, and you won't see any additional cable strung up on the poles unless Spectrum decides to do a build-out program. But that was a interesting and enlightening event, but I will stay in contact with them. One last thing, or two last things I've got real quick, is our drop boxes downstairs. We are actually, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, we are in the top 10 with Erie County for the drop boxes that I put in last year as far as collection. Erie County Sheriff's Department is collecting almost 30 pounds of pharmaceuticals and needles and things. Again, I don't know if it's just how we continue to promote it, and we do have a pretty strong southbound exposure and radius, I will say, but the sheriff's office comes and they take away totes of product, I will say, out of our bins. So I will thank the community for keeping those off the streets and keeping our family members and loved ones and children safe. And last but not least, at the Thank Event, one thing I wanted to show everybody, we reached out. We're going to unveil these. We have a wounded combat veteran parking signs, very similar to, not necessarily in the same concept, but a very similar process as a handicap parking sign. We received 3 of these here at the town hall. When Mickey Kearns comes out, we're going to be talking about them a little bit, but then for Veterans Week, that's when we're going to do the big unveil and give back to our veterans. So we have 3 of these parking lot signs, and they'll be going up pretty soon. But that is all I have for tonight. I do appreciate everybody coming out. If you have any questions, please call my office, set up a time to talk to me, email me. Again, the Zimmerman Road topic, I guess I'll say, or any other county road topic, it's not going to go away anytime soon. I wish it would. I wish it was a simple fix, a simple answer, but there's not. And it's just something that we all need to sit down, and I promise I will keep the communication open on that. So with that being said, I will make a motion to close the meeting.
I will second that.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Tarantini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.